Given what has happened to inflation, if you were looking forward and talking about your expectations from the budget, what would they be?
No, that's a very relevant question. You are right. It's very important to keep in mind that a large part of the spending and the budget is kind of you cannot really change the course of that particular expenditure. But wherever there is a bit of discretion still in the hands of the government, possibly here is a case for the government to remain continue to be supportive for the infrastructure sector. Thankfully, that's a stated priority for the government, and it's not. My sense is that given the job creation it can lead to in case of some of the manufacturing and construction sector, that should not be an issue with any government, even in case of an election year. So my sense is that you might see a bit of, or I look forward to some bit of additional support for the overall heavy infrastructure here. My suggestion here, additional suggestion here would be, now infrastructure typically is a large ticket expenditure. My sense is that, but at the same time, the finances in the hands of the government is always limited. In a year like this, it's all the more limited. So within infrastructure, actually, you need to figure out some pockets where the input-output ratio is more favorable, where with a smaller quantum or smaller ticket spending, you actually generate more value. For example, some of the areas like I keep on emphasizing on this particular point every now and then, that for example, it's time to spend significantly on, for example, rural infrastructure like rural storage or agro storage. We have made good progress on rural electrification of late in recent years. So it's a natural synergy now to go ahead with rural or agricultural storage part significantly. We need to give some kind of a push on the agro marketing part. These things are supportive or positive factors, both from a GDP as well as from inflation management point of view. And that should be focus of any government in any year, including in an election year.
One quick point on inflation management. One of the components of inflation management from the administrative side, the fiscal side, has been the refusal to pass through the volatility in crude oil prices. Now, over the last few days, crude oil prices have fallen. It's a matter of relief, but there is accumulated amount which has also been totted up for the oil marketing companies. Given the evolving situation and the possibility that crude may not rise in the near future, what implications does it have for India's inflation dynamics?
I think in the current situation, the government has, even though they typically follow the practice of passing it in a quite an agile fashion, of late they had been slightly more tolerant in terms of price movement. And given that the market had been quite volatile and it has been a two-way volatility, often it's not too bad to go a little slow in terms of price adjustment rather than adjusting both ways every now and then. Gives people a little bit of relief and less of uncertainty at this moment. And the government is seem to be doing that at times. So my sense is that particular practice continues at the moment, and the adjustments might actually be with a little bit of lag more often than not in the next few months.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.